Right, Super Rugby Semi Final number 2. The Brumbies are taking on the Chiefs down in Hamilton. How's everybody doing? Randy says, come on the Brumbies. Xavier says, come on the Brumbies. Be Real says, let's go Chiefs. Vic says, come on, make history, Brumbies. Will says, Chiefs by 15. Max says, Chiefs, mana. Ducks Quack says, as long as they beat the Crusaders, I don't care who wins. I think I'd prefer the Brumbies, though. There we go. Hi, Mark. Brumbies will have to make history to become the first non-New Zealand team to win a knockout in New Zealand, only to lose to the Crusaders next week. Boom. Probably right. Imagine if the Brumbies did it, though. Double record-breaking history to get to a Super Rugby title. It'll be quite epic. How's the head mark you on rare form last night, says Pascal. Man, yesterday was a combat. My head felt bad this morning. I didn't even drink that much, but I think the lingering Chinese liquor was more in my system than I realised. Then when I had a wee bit of whiskey on top of there, that kind of it added a little bit. What can I say? I haven't had any Chinese liquor tonight, so this should be sober 2 cents. Stalio's rooting for the Brumbies to mix things up because the Crusaders win is inevitable either way. You might be right. Whoop whoop, Milo liked the stream. How's it going, Mr. Milo? Mr. Milo, who dropped 150... Goodness, that lighting is pretty bad, isn't it? 150 channel memberships. I really need to, actually... I need to make that 12 out of 20 much more visible. 12 out of 20. I'm going to get an AI to do this, I'm afraid. Make me a 12 out of 20 square image I can add to YouTube live streams for channel members. Needs to really pop and just say 12 out of 20. Well, for my first beer of the night and a Chiefs win, up the Chiefs, I've gone with a lot of water and a drop of whiskey tonight. Because my head was, like I said, feeling it a little bit this morning. What can I say? Jeez, that light's bad. Anyway. More text, less border. It'll be a small logo. But yes, cheers, Mr. Will. I kind of want the Chiefs to win because I reckon they got a better chance against the Crusaders next week. GPT, yes, Milo, sadly. Josh is hoping for a Brumbies upset. Munster fan hoping for the Chiefs for today. Don't worry, bro, I'm willing to drink your share of the beer tonight. Well, you're a champion. I didn't have any beer with my dinner either. 3, 2, 1. Right, we've just had kickoff. I'll give you guys a 10-second marker once the clock hits 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's us now. Anyone looking to line things up? Chiefs, Brumbies. Chiefs are pretty decently strong favourites for this one. I think probably rightly so, because as the commentator said, they don't tend to drop many games over here in New Zealand. Do the New Zealand New Zealand teams in playoff matches to overseas sides. But the Brumbies do have the ball for the start of the game, and they are in the Chiefs' half. So that is at least something decently. I need to stop mucking around with this and watch the game. Won't be able to stay as I have a park run at 9 AM our time, says Jezza. Never done park run, but I did take my son for a run in the park today, if that counts. Shush says the Chiefs will choke at home. And Jimmy says kind of what I said earlier, that I hope the Chiefs win because I reckon they can better win next week. Thank you for the tip, Milo. I do need to interact with this. Scrolling. What? What's this? What's 2838 rugby pass? Bro, what are you doing? Let's try that again. Let me try that again. Is that an ominous sign of the future? That looks more like it. It's a little bit behind, but at least it doesn't say 2838. Whoa. She's going to come out and crush the Brumbies, says TZ. Premiership will be rebranded the Prem for next season. Thoughts? That's... Everyone calls it the Prem, but I don't like the idea of the official name becoming the Prem. I guess for branding purposes, it's more unique. Oh, Satiti's just shelled the ball, so we will have a scrum. It'd be like the URC just being called IRC officially. Officially the IRC. I don't think it would quite work, although IRC does rhyme with work. Right, open, edit. Okay, first scrum of the game. You feel like the Brumbies need to do well at set piece. And they've got a free kick from the first one. I'm just doing a quick task in the background. Mario, greetings. How's it going, pal? Libra Carter has just taken a mark. Hey, and the scores has updated at last. Even if it's like a minute behind. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid? I played the... Is it the original on PS2, PS1, PS1, PS2? Yeah, it was PS1 because you had to swap the controller port when you fought that Psycho Mantis guy. I played that one. I played the one after it. I maybe played the one after that, but that's about it. That's a pretty random question for a rugby live stream, I'll be honest with you. Where'd that come from? What brought that on? There we go. I have at last updated the 12 out of 20 logo for anybody who wishes, any channel members who wish to use that one. Originals PS1 stylio. There you go. When's the squad naming? I think it's after the Super Rugby final at some point. We are going to get another scrum, by the way, for anybody not watching the game. They've just popped up a scrum stat on the screen which says own scrum win percentage, and it says these two teams have got the best scrum in the competition, but scrum stats are honestly pretty terrible. They're not very accurate. Mario reckons Chiefs by 15. I'm surprised the Crusaders aren't on top 5 in their own scrum. Honestly, I don't believe those scrum stats. Like, if you've got a scrum which goes back at a rate of knots, but you still manage to get it out somehow, it still says that's 100% because you're 1 from 1. But if you, like, dominate other people's scrums on their feed and then you give away a penalty on your own feed once, you're at 0%. Suddenly you're the worst scrum. You know what I mean? The scrum metrics are really broken. They are one of, I feel like, the least accurate stats. South Africa often comes out with not very good scrum stats by that when I've looked in the past. Metal Gear Solid boss music is the best to listen to during a scrum. That's random. I'll have to try that. Well, so far, I think the Brumbies are pretty happy with the start. We're 7 minutes in. They've had the lion's share of the territory. But they could certainly use some points for it. Alaran, the Chiefs man. How are you going, sir? How are you feeling about your Chiefs? Have you got a wine in hand? Max has gone for a Brumbies Crusaders final. 3 kinds of lies, and damn statistics. Yeah, man, I'm a guy who likes rugby stats. And honestly, I've been looking at the scrum stats of teams long enough to know that they are not very good. I wonder if have we got some TMO already? We got some TMO! Shoulder to head from one of the Chiefs' locks. Ooh, Vati's gonna get carded. There's definitely a yellow. Yeah, Jimmy did call it. He called it a few comments earlier. That's at least a yellow. Brumbies really need a score now, man. Yellow card, shoulder, head of Pollard. That's on 7 minutes. Note number 1. Milo is asking yellow or upgrade to red. I still think they'll find a way to mitigate it to yellow, but if it went red, it wouldn't be the most shocking red I've ever seen. Pascal reckons it's going to be a yellow. Frankie doesn't feel any stat is accurate. When I played, it always felt like each player made 2 or 3 tackles every minute of every game. I do feel like there are stats that can certainly show you trends which kind of back up the way like your eyes see the game. Like when you see a team like Ireland, they have a shitload more carries than everybody else. Because they just do quick recycle ball. You know what I mean? Like that one reflects the way they play the game. But if you were to look at like meters per carry, Ireland's numbers always look poor because they are going through so many carries. So many of them are short range carries. They'll still clock up the run meters, but they'll take more carries to do it because that's the way they want to grind teams into the dust. So yeah, you could use those stats to say Ireland's attack sucks, or you could use it to say Ireland's attack is awesome, depending on which stat you pick, kind of thing. So, yeah, they can show trends. Dumb thing is, we're all here saying head contact only happens because the first tackler shifts him over, and so it's a wasn't even a penalty. There you go, Jimmy. 10 phases, and we're almost 10 minutes in. Lolosio is down with some medics, so the Brumbies attack right now is kind of being driven by Wright and Ikitau. Oh, but that pass has gone to nobody. So what do the Brumbies do here? Take the points? Remember a few years ago, the stat that was the most correlated who wins was the line breaks. When I did the stats years ago, it was kicks from hand. The number one stat that would show you who won the game was kicks from hand. But line breaks, I think, was probably second. Tackles didn't matter. Possession and territory were pretty much like 50-50. It didn't make a difference, you know, if you had more possession or less possession. Position and territory more showed just the stylistic thing than results thing, but kicks from hand was genuinely like there was a strong trend. On the Jamesons again. A very watered down Jamesons because I was feeling yesterday. By the way, my father-in-law is literally fucking, excuse my language, passed out on the couch snoring away because he drank shitloads tonight. We went out to a restaurant for a wee family gathering, and he likes to drink Chinese booze, which none of the stores sell. So I gave him a bottle of the Chinese booze and an empty water drink bottle, and he poured in what he thought was an appropriate amount of Chinese booze into the water bottle. It's colorless, so it just looks like water, but it was a lot of booze, and it was stronger than the one we usually drink. He fucking smashed it back with dinner, and he's gone. He was talking all kinds of shit at the dinner table. My parents were there. Him, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law there. Probably lucky they can't understand each other because he was just like blah, 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 blah. It was quite comical. Quite comical. He's passed out on the couch. Anyway. The card is going to remain a yellow, so there you go. Yeah, my wife's dad. He's having a good night. He's having a good night. It wasn't Gaza, it's my father-in-law. My Gaza can't drink any alcohol with the, sorry, I didn't make that clear, with the chemo that he's having. But my father-in-law was just fucking smashing them back. Right. Chiefs could seriously use an exit here because they've had no territory. D-Mac has to pick it up round his ankles, but he does well and makes the clearance. Yeah, I can hear my father-in-law snoring from the couch just down the hallway. Jimmy might have a whiskey as well. Good man. I'll add a drop more. Seeing as you're going to have some whiskey, Jimmy. I wanted to keep it watered down after the way my head was feeling this morning, but I think I went a bit overboard. That looks a bit better. Stevenson with a hell of a boot from no angle, but the Brumbies have got a chance to run it straight back, but no, they opt to kick. Oh, Muirhead wasn't that far away there. One-handed, he almost gathered that. Brumbies have only got 4 minutes left on this yellow. New blood I would like to see in the ABs in 2025. Some guys who've stood up this year, Tavatavanawai could certainly find himself in the squad. Leroy Carter could be a bit of a bolter. That's a 50-22 from Tom Wright. Not bad. They need to score. Joseph said, let's go, lads. It's only 8:23 a.m. and we're on the friggin' Jamesons already. Right, Brumbies, 5 metre line out. It's maul time, you know that's coming. The backs get in there. Bro, he's over. He is over. Once again, 2 nights in a row, it's the away side with the first score. Brumbies from Pollard. Oh, surely you think the 50-22 for that one, and the back's getting in there. Anyone's picture frozen. Are you talking about the stream or the game? Five-meter line out. Still no sign of Lolosio, so Lonergan's taking the shot. He's done a bit of goal kicking in his time. He's no slouch. He's nailed it. 7 points to 0 lead for the Brumbies, folks. I thought it was impossible to have Ryan Lonergan finally having a Wallabies call-up this year, Darramundi. I reckon it's a decent shout, hey? But then there's talk of Jake White being... Did I say Jake White? Jake White's the coach of the Bulls. Jake Gordon. Why can't I get names recently? I'm getting old. Yeah, possibly being captain. Live stream froze, but it's back to normal now. Okay, good. Oh yeah, Milo's the only one spamming the try emoji from all the channel members. Yeah, that is a coach, Milo. I keep getting perplexed with names recently. It might be the whiskey. There you go. Jez is getting them as well. Right, Chiefs' first real chance to have some phases in the Brumbies half. Yeah, Darramundi, I'm not sure where that story's come from about Jake Gordon potentially being captain, but it's out there. Brett likes Lonergan's pass. We do miss the Aaron Smith crisp service. We were spoiled for so many years, weren't we? Oh, the chance gone. Lonergan's just hooved it clear. Hope the Brumbies win. Not sure my Crusaders can beat the Chiefs. Struggle with their attacking style, says Mr. Porkchop. Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup either way. Chiefs have forgotten how to catch a pass. Yeah, they're looking a little bit, I don't know, a little bit frazzled. They've only had 28% territory. Rusty was not right about Nick Berry. It's almost 4 years ago now. Oh, look at that. Tupaia taking a high ball. Now the Chiefs have got some go forward. Not quite into touch. Or the Brumbies might have counter-rucked that into touch. Oh, they've given themselves away a penalty. Footy Finn is watching on free to air in Brisbane. You're about 20 seconds ahead. That's about right. I think that's a good decent gap. Yeah, Milo, it looks like the threes are not on the cards, these Super Rugby Finals. It's all about heading for the touchline. Chiefs have got themselves an attacking line out now. 7 meters out. Akroy's taking it. It's time for a maul of their own. Satiti's got it. He's not usually their main maul guy. Where the hell did Narawa come from? Holy smokes, the Chiefs have just got themselves a try. I need to watch that back because I totally missed where he snuck in from. Is that like his first touch of the damn game? One-handed pickup. Holy smokes. Far out. That's ballsy. Yeah, Starleo. What the hell? Yeah, that is good. Good immediate strike back from the Chiefs. If D-Mac can nail the kick, we'll be back at 7 apiece. He's nailed it. Seven points apiece in the semi-final. Kind of reminded me of Knock at the... Was Knock any of the injured that game? I don't think Knock was injured. Ram is the man in Israel. We got your message on the 2 Cents Gets Distracted latest episode. I don't know if you saw that. Leroy Carter's going to have a run across field. Oh, here we go. Narawa. He's not got the gas, though. Stevenson. He's going into touch. She's getting... Oh! Oh, goodness me. There's handbags. They're going into the crowd. Tualima and Leroy Carter. Goodness me. It's all on. They're going to check it out. What's happened here? They're going to have a look at it. That's proper handbags. Yeah, exactly. And Frankie, I do kind of agree. If they had zero tolerance for stuff, it would stop happening. Oh, Carter's just got up into... They're just going to play on. How many empty seats in that stadium? This is a semi-final, right? Yeah, I mentioned that about last night's game, and I got a whole heap of excuses. Not that I'm not saying the Blues are any better. The Blues hosted a semi-final against the Brumbies last year at Eden Park, and I think we got 12,000 fans. And Lolasio's gone. Jeez, that's rough. So yeah, the Blues didn't do any better in a semi-final last year, but it does suck. I got every excuse under the book. You guys will have to tell me which of the excuses. Maybe we'll do it at halftime. Which of them hold the most water? In theory, any semi-final should just sell out, right? It's a big game. It's a big old game. We'll go through them at halftime. We'll play the excuses for not selling out the game. And you guys can tell. We'll rank them as to like most legit to like least legit. Lolasio's been in the wars this season. Well, he's off to Japan, so maybe he'll get his body back in good nick with a year in Japan. Chiefs have taken the lead by taking a 3. It's what my Blues didn't do last night. Yeah, Lolasio being gone is going to be rough for the Brumbies. I mean, Debrasini being there is like a specialist 10 replacement. It's not like a totally reject backline like we saw with the Reds the other week, but still rough. Illumi agreed with the decision to go for the try from the Blues. Yeah. Just breaking down that Crusaders defense was just such a mission last night, eh? Jules is going the Brumbies. Yeah, my Blues thing was expected last night, Jules, sadly. Ratima with the big counter ruck. Goodness gracious. To be fair to both crowds, New Zealand is either just out of or contracting to go back into recession. Cost of living still biting deep, and I'd imagine semi-finals tickets aren't cheap. We'll talk about that at halftime. I have thoughts. You can tell me if I'm talking out my backside or not. Adam Lamapi signing for Moana. I think it's a good signing. For sure. They need another kind of big name player, not just Savia. So that's good. Hopefully more guys sign for Moana. Yeah, Moana signed Lamapi. They did. He's back in New Zealand. A guy who I don't feel like was ever given a fair crack with the All Blacks, but there we go. Moana did let like 15 players go, including Tom Wefalau and a bunch of others. That kick is too big from the Chiefs, and it's out on the full. In knockout and international matches, points win the prizes. Take any that are on offer, Ray. Yeah, man. In hindsight, I wish my Blues had taken the 3 last night to at least get the lead back. I think that would have put a cat amongst the pigeons, but like I said, it's easier to say that after the fact. How come Kansas City Chiefs and NFL can sell out a 70,000 seat stadium when it's minus 20 and heavy snow, but the Crusaders can't sell out a 20 seat stadium when there's a bit of rain and chilly? Yeah, we're going to talk about this at halftime, Adam, because I've been thinking similar stuff. Not just about the Crusaders, but about attendances in Super Rugby generally, especially during the knockout stages. James, good morning, man. Big game in the URC a bit later today. Tomorrow, for those of us in New Zealand, 4 o'clock in the morning. Love to know how the Crusaders have their budget for their squad plus academy. They put it together. They're going to re-sign Mo'unga as well as Whainganuku. I think, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the budgets for Super Rugby players are actually pretty low. Like, it's New Zealand Rugby that do the All Black side of things that seem to bump up hugely, like the salaries for the top guys. I think most of their salary comes from that aspect rather than the Super Rugby side of the contract. It's like broken down into segments, but having never had a Super Rugby contract, I don't know. What am I drinking a little bit? Some heavily watered down Jamesons because I drank too much Chinese booze last night and then followed up with Jamesons and I felt the effects of it this morning. All right, Jezza, enjoy your run, mate. Stevenson has a walloping kick, but he's not found touch. Tom Wright's going to kick it right back to him. Is it going to go dead? Is it going to go dead? No, it's a good kick from Tom Wright. D-Mac's going to have a run. Go from your own 22, mate. Hey, he's tackled. And nobody's in there from the Chiefs. Whoa, that was lucky. That was a bit of a delayed reaction. New Zealand Rugby should be pushing the players to move around a bit if they're paying the bulk of their salaries. You think a bit of parity would help things? Should they do an internal draft system in New Zealand? Will half of these Brumbies be in the Wallabies? A fair chunk of them will be, mate. A fair chunk will be. Crowd doesn't like Muirhead's pass to right, but it rolled forward after it had gone backwards. It's fine. Neither side wants to take any phases at the moment. Oh, Muirhead again. Sliding catch. He's taken two. Two great catches, Footy Finn. Yeah, you called it. But the Chiefs have just won themselves another penalty. I can hear my kids on the other side of the door. Can you hear them? What are they going to do here? I feel like the Reds need to make up the bulk of the Wallabies. They are going to take the 3. Gonna live stream the URC final. Honestly, I've thought about it, David, but I haven't talked to my wife about it. 4 a.m. on a Sunday. I feel like may not go down that well. Morning, it's like the Amazon jungle in Ireland this morning. Warm and wet. URC final looked distinctly damp later. Advantage Bulls. Possibly with that scrum of theirs. $13 points to 7, folks. The Brumbies, not Brumbies, the Chiefs did this to the Blues last week though, right? The boot got them ahead. It was a joke. Family with freak out. I honestly considered it, because I have considered it. It's a big old game. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's a famous line from somewhere, but I can't remember where. Oz fan watching this match, nervously hoping no injuries ahead of the Lions. That's true. Brumbies need to keep everyone fit. Lolosio getting an HIA fail is not a great sign, but fingers crossed he passes everything subsequently. Happy Geordie is going to get a proper finals experience playing a South African team. Even better, we need this more. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at some point at like how much of each of like the Box and the All Blacks and the Wallabies like current squads have played in the old Super Rugby. I still feel like a lot of the Box guys have, because their squad's a bit older. I feel like a lot of those old Box guys have played not USC, Super Rugby the old days, and then either in Japan or Europe But there's certainly a lot more All Blacks now who haven't played any Super Rugby in South Africa. Just wake up and sleep out of bed. The problem is that's where the bed is, and the wife will usually be in it. Right, more time for the Chiefs. Chiefs? Brumbies. Oh, it's going to be try time. Oh, sure. That was looking like a try for all money. Nick Berry has gone to put his whistle in his mouth twice, but didn't do it. Valentini's close. Still short. I got advantage, the Brumbies. Do they go for the maul here if they blow the advantage? Valentini again. Lost it backwards. Lonergan. Debrasini. Cross kick. Tool. He's got it. What? Hands? How the hell did he do that? He had no rights to score that. It was going into touch for all money. He had no room. Oh, immediately slams it down. What a try. Oh, that's some fucking skill right there, excuse me. Wow. Morning, Mark. How exciting so far. Hope you don't have a sore head tomorrow morning as well. Fingers crossed to be a bit better this time. My father-in-law's going to have a sore head, to tell you that. The guy's passed out on the couch. Geez, did he drink a lot. A lot. At 52%, he had a lot to drink. Everyone was telling him he was drunk, and he's like, I'm not drunk. I always drink this much. It is 13-12, folks. It is a 1-point game. I was just finishing a note that I was making. Can someone explain to me why the Chiefs are through to the next round even though they lost last week? Super Rugby currently has 6 teams make the initial playoff stage. 6. So if we had all the winners go through and all the losers out, we would be left with 3. 3. Which wouldn't make for enough teams to have 2 games. So they had to find a way of going 2 go and 1 stays. That's the way they ended up doing it. They could have just given teams 1 and 2 like a bye and let these 2 teams go at it, and then, but no, they decided to keep the extra game. I'm wondering, Milo, are you doing another load of gift memberships? You're so generous. Once a week. Once a week. Yesterday was like 3 times. It was already quite incredible. 150 gifted memberships is nuts. Right, D-Max lining up another penalty in reply. Nailed it. Did that deviate at all at the end? It's a good instant reply from the Chiefs to hit back with points. because they just conceded 5, but get 3 back, so that try is only like a 2-pointer. Smash the like button. Yes, if you haven't hit the like button, do that. I haven't asked at all today. They shouldn't have got a home semi for losing. Yeah, I reckon that's probably true, Alan, actually. I think if you are the lucky loser, you should probably become the now bottom side. It should be more than a 1-rank loss, I think. It should be... Because in any other sports league, basically losing in the playoffs means you're out. So it should probably be you suddenly become the bottom qualifier, I think. They would punish the Crusaders for having to play the Chiefs, though, right? I suppose so. Oof. But in not many years would the top seed lose. But it did happen. The issue is the possibility of the semi-final being the same teams that went to the quarter if the loser went to the bottom seed. I'll have to get a pen and paper out and see how that could have worked. We're almost at halftime. "15 seconds left in the first. But yeah, the fact we didn't end up... Oh, Tuilemus just shelled it. The fact that we didn't end up with a repeat of games was definitely a plus. I think we are going to have time for a scrum before halftime. Jacobson wants the scrum. Who oiled the ball here? I'll be interested to see what the stats are like for the turnovers conceded. I also want to hit to, because I was mentioning scrum stats earlier today. Where's my scrum stats? Scrums total, scrums won. Do I have a scrum percentage stat anywhere? Scrum tries, lineup percentage, scrum percentage. 94. $94, 79, 78, 83. Yeah, I mean, looking at the scrum stats... Oops. There's a scrum penalty to the Chiefs, by the way. At the start of the game, if you missed it, I was talking about the fact they flashed a stat on the screen which said the Chiefs and the Brumbies had the 2 best scrums in the competition. And I mentioned that scrum stats are notoriously unreliable because they only measure whether you won a scrum on your own feed. They don't measure whether you, demolished a team on their feed. And, so if you only had 1 scrum the entire game and you got free kicked or you got a penalty conceded, you'd be at 0%, even if you demolished every scrum on their feed, if that makes sense. So I just had a look at the Six Nations stats that I took earlier in the year. According to that, Wales has got a better scrum at 86%, better than England, better than Ireland, better than Italy, and better than Scotland. It's the second best scrum in the Six Nations. So I kind of take them with a bit of a grain of salt. But the Chiefs have just won a scrum penalty. So it's now 19-12. We will go into the sheds. Oh, Frankie, goodness me. Chiefs lost their top spot, so playing the final in Christchurch is just as much a loss as not having a home semi-final. If the Blues won it, it would have been a repeat of the quarter-final between the Chiefs and Blues. That's true. Cheers, man, as always. That's a very, very bit of generosity from Frankie. I'll pour some more whiskey in your honour. Cheers, man. There we go. They have Adam Jones on as a scrum coach, in fairness. Yeah, but I remember watching the Six Nations and this, like, I wasn't thinking to myself, man, Wales is struggling, but at least their scrum is like the second best in the Six Nations. You know what I mean? Right. Now, I mentioned earlier as well, the Chiefs have got some empty seats at this game. The Blues certainly had some empty seats at our semi-final we hosted against the Brumbies last year. Here are the main top 5 reasons I got for people saying why they didn't go to the game yesterday. And this is not just about Christchurch. I think this would apply to most of the places in New Zealand for these Super Rugby knockout games. Number 1, it's too cold. It's too cold to go. Number 2 is probably unique to Christchurch. The stadium's made out of scaffolding and it's not worth paying money to go to that shithole. Number 3, the ticket prices were really high. Number 4, somebody told me, this was a unique one, that the empty seats were in the away section and it was a lack of travelling Blues fans that made the stadium look empty. And number 5 was it had been raining throughout the day, so it looked like it was going to be miserable at the ground. Many of these could also apply to reasons fans don't go to the game in Auckland or Hamilton or whatever. There will be a Gazette report. He's also sent it through, just FYI. I was at the semi last year at Eden Park, although the weather turned out fine for the game. It had been horrendous during the day. That's true. If the weather holds up, I might go to the final on Saturday, says Frankie. Seems like you may not be getting up at 4 a.m, Mark. You might be right. The thing I ask about most of these reasons is, like if it's an important game, like if it's the Rugby World Cup final, I don't think any of these excuses are stopping people from going to games. Like, people say the ticket prices are too high. I mean, the ticket prices, you can get cheap tickets. I don't know what Christchurch is like. Eden Park is like $20-something. Which, like, it's an affordable night. It depends. If you want to buy, like, 6 beers at the game, it's going to get pricey. That's for sure. But, like, Metallica's coming to New Zealand this year. My mate was like, oh, let's get some tickets. And I had a look, and like the cheap seats were like $400. And it sold out in no time. I don't know if Metallica is not the same deal as going to a Super Rugby game, but the idea that people don't have $20 for a night out, I don't really buy that one. The cold thing, I'm pretty sure people can brave the cold if they really want to go to the game. You know what I mean? Travelling fans, I don't think travelling fans has always been a massive thing in Super Rugby. It's not like English football. I think it's just, there's just not that much interest. People would rather watch it at home. But yeah. $20 tickets at Eden Park, you consider the ends. I mean, would they add like a service fee? $20 means you only get to sit behind the posts. It's the general admission seats. It's more like 24 or something with their service fees and what other shitty fees they put on. But yeah, like Adam was saying earlier how NFL fans go like braving minus 20 degree days to go watch games. Like, yeah, people certainly get out in colder weather than we saw yesterday in Christchurch to go watch games. $20 is to see the game and not eat or drink. Exactly right, Paul. It's not the price, it's making the effort of taking a day or for 1.5 hours of the day. Yeah, again, I agree, but if it's something important enough, you'll still do it, right? If it was a World Cup final, you'd do it. Now take that down a level. If it's a World Cup semi-final, would you do it? If it's a World Cup pool stage, would you do it? Like, in theory, a Super Rugby semi-final should be like a high, yeah, I will be willing to make these sacrifices to go to that event, but it doesn't seem to be there at the moment. Also feel like if you're paying out the ass for watching at home, you're paying a subscription either way. I do feel like there could be some kind of fan pass thing where if you have a Sky subscription here in New Zealand, they could give you free tickets or something. That way you're not like double paying for a game, but they've never implemented that kind of thing. And yeah, as FootyFin says, the Warriors sell out their games. Auckland FC had fantastic attendances. So all these excuses I don't feel like hold water. If people really wanted to go, they would still go. Anyway, I'm talking too much about that. And yeah, you don't need to eat or drink. It's 2 hours. You won't starve. I've regularly gone to the game. There's places outside the venue. Load up on some food and drink. Then go watch the game and do the same after the game. Because I'm a cheap bastard. And the food and drink at the stadium is usually overpriced and pretty shitty. Anyway, here's my dad.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I mean, the Brumbies have lost an LSCO, which is a pretty big loss, but Jack Dobrinsky seems to be doing all right. He's not a good goal kicker, but Mackenzie's getting the goals, and the Brumbies getting the tries. I still think the Chiefs will win this game. Rick Berry.
12?
Well, he's doing all right, 12 out of 20.
There you go.
Can't be too hard on him because it's a pretty hard game to referee, and the linesmen and the TMO seem to be doing okay. The yellow card, he was probably deserved, but, you know, I'm a too high, but that's the way it is. Tackling. I think the Chiefs will carry on to win this game, but not by as much as what we were predicting. Maybe 10 or 12, could be 6 to 8. Depending how second half goes. Well, the Brumbies have definitely come to play, and they can win this game if they use their heads a bit more. But the Chiefs are doing well. They're doing all they have to do to keep, taking their points, and that's what it's all about in the final. You might get 5 tries, and the opposition might get 3, but they might kick more goals, and that means, you're out of the playoffs. So 50-50. Not too many predictions because we've seen it turn to custard before. Like last week when the Blues beat the Chiefs, when the Chiefs probably should have won. Brumbies got a good forward pack. They got a good back line. Missing Alessio. They got to have more of a chance of winning with him than Dobrinsky, but he's doing all right.
Dobrinsky.
He has to kick the goals. He's not that great a goal kick. I don't know what his percentages are, but I wouldn't think they're that high. I hope your subscribers are watching the game with interest.
I hope so too.
And he's going to go down and play the bloody Crusaders. And I think overall this game is, it's pretty tight in the forwards. And the Brumbies can score tries like we've just seen one from Pollard earlier, so we know they're a threat. I think any star players, well, maybe Stevenson. He's having a good game. It's, he's getting near the end of his term in New Zealand, so he'd want to go out on a high note. So will Clayton McMillan before Ashton Munster. I think if the Chiefs win this game, they'll have a good chance at Christchurch because they've done it before.
I think so too.
Have to see what that scenario brings out. And if the Brumbies win, well, I think they'll find it harder to win in Christchurch than
the Chiefs.
But
I think so too.
stranger things than that, so they could be wrong.
I agree.
So, 12 out of 20 from Mr. Berry.
12 out of 20.
And Nick Berry, not Rick Berry, sorry. Nick Berry. It's probably one of the better halves I've seen him do than a lot of others. And that's probably because of the pressure on him. And the linesmen aren't interfering too much, which is good. And we're just going to have to see how it goes. Nobody's playing badly. Nobody's made that catastrophic astronomical era yet, but we know both these teams have got the players to win. So that's about all I can record so far. So keep supporting Mark's channel.
There you go.
And membership and Gazamania Origimania are out by.
I told him that the memberships are called Gazamania. So he was asking me today how many Gazamanias have you sold? I said somebody sold 100. Somebody gifted 150 yesterday, but I'm not sure he fully gets how that works. Took me a long time to get my head around it, to be fair. Kind of random, but I used to write halftime scores on the whiteboard during the review. I kind of like that. Halftime scores on the whiteboard? No. No. I never wrote the halftime score on the whiteboard, did I? That doesn't sound like me. No. Gazamaniacs, there you go. Max. Why are the members called Gazamaniacs? The level is called Gazamania. So I guess that would make you a Gazamaniac if you signed up to be a member. Yes. That would make sense. I used to use the whiteboard during the game, yes. Instead of that thing. But I never used to write the halftime score on the whiteboard, did I? Like, I never used to write, like, Chiefs 38, Brumbies 28, and then in brackets, like, halftime 19-12 kind of thing. Someone explained to an American why Gaza is called Gaza. Because his name is Gary. Gary Gaza. They both have a ga. I guess. I remember the whiteboard fridge thing. Yeah, I definitely, when I was a bit less, I'm not exactly high tech now, but when I was even lower tech, I remember writing the scores on the whiteboard as the game progressed. But I think Milo was saying, like, writing the halftime score. Like the halftime score, on the whiteboard for the match review. Hey, Xavier just became a Gazamaniac. There you go. Thank you, my brother. Hey there, Mark and Gaza. Hope you are well. One mistake or individual brilliance will be the difference in winning or losing. It does have that kind of feeling about it. This also feels like a knockout game. Like a proper knockout game, a close game. Is this watch 2 cents get drunk? Maybe, Pete. Maybe. It kind of happened a little bit yesterday. You'd have the halftime score under the full-time score. No, this is definitely a different channel. I never used to write the halftime score on the whiteboard. I would write the whiteboard up during the game, but not the halftime score. 2 cents. Are you rocking 2 watches at the same time? I have a watch, and then because I started running this year, my wife bought me a fitness tracker. So, yes, I do wear 2, which does kind of feel kind of shitty. But I like my watch more than the fitness tracker for looking at the time. What can I say? I mean, it's only like a $60 fitness tracker. It just basically does your heartbeat, how far you've run, your oxygen or something, and it is whiskey time. Yes, it's basically for just how far I run when I run. Second half is not far from getting underway. I did forget the trivia, Randy. I'm sorry. I need to buy beers which have got trivia under the caps. I could earn you some money for being fit. What would I have to do? You're an insurance broker. What's that got to do with running around? Anyway, second half is underway. 40 minutes and 5 seconds for anyone looking to sync up. Milo, I don't think we have a name on the successor for the Chiefs just yet. And Nate, I'm not sure Satiti's been quite as explosive as he was last year. This is true. My father-in-law is still, I can hear him snoring on the couch. Well, I'm telling you, that guy drank some booze. He really drank a lot tonight. Bring back Fozzie for the Chiefs. Would you Chiefs fans like that? Bit of Fozzie action? Oh, shit, I didn't even... Oh, I did write down the stats. Oh, scared myself. If I didn't read out the stats, it was 59-41 possession at halftime to the Brumbies, 55-45 territory to the Brumbies. But they also conceded double the penalty, 6-3. And the Chiefs' tackle percentage is 92, which is phenomenal. I wrote them down, but I forgot to mention them. I wrote them down while Gazza was talking. Brumbies have won themselves a penalty to start the half, which is not a bad effort. Is it Irish whiskey? It's Jameson's. So, yes. Where in Ireland is Jameson's made? It's from Cork. There you go. So it's a Munster drop, I suppose. Is that a thing in Ireland? Do you guys care where your drinks come from? Because we have certainly regional beers and whatnot. Certain beers are associated with different regions. Geez, you guys knew that. Keith and Pascal knew that off the top of your heads. The Chiefs have stolen the line out. Will Stevenson make your All Blacks versus France squad? Nah, seeing as he's off to Japan, no. No chance. And Alaran knows his booze as well. Coy with the line-out steal. Lions' first game is next weekend against Los Pumas, which is daunting considering how quickly this series game's up. It's very true. Super Rugby is still going when the Lions will be playing. Oh my God! How the hell did Corey Toole do that? He just kept running and running and running and running. He is lightning, but they just couldn't stop him. Whoa. This is just simple as quick hands, pop ball, nice quick hands. Gets past prop, goes past D-Mac. Oh my goody aunt. One. D-Mac, you gone, burger. If he can convert this, it'll be all tied up. He's missed it wide. 19-17, still a 2-point lead for the Chiefs. Lilleran's going to go see the Lions play the Force on the 28th. Good man. Toole's going to be a Wallaby, is he? Maybe. David, yeah, maybe. He's got the gas. He probably could have got a cap last year, eh? And that was a try. Handjo, proper class. Ratima's head is all bandaged up. Tickets sold out as well. That's what I mean. For an event which is important enough, people will buy tickets to it. So, Lions Force, it's not a test match, but it is a special event, so people will go. We just need to get Super Rugby to that special event kind of status. Tool's defensive game isn't that great for a winger. Yeah, at the test level, it's true. You got to be the complete package these days, eh? Xavier Rose on. Oh, April Tui, how's it going? Didn't see you there. Long time no see. Here come the Chiefs. Tupaya. Ooh, he didn't let that one go. Jacob goes to the line. Rowe with the wee shimmy. Oh! Narawa gets another one. That's the best period of play from the Chiefs this game. Goodness me. Oh, they finally got it cracking. That's got the crowd off their feet. About time. Carter, Rowe, all these guys in the middle of that one. Jacob. Tupaya as well. Narawa with the finish. That's looking a bit more comfortable for the Chiefs now. Dougie, who? This guy's on fire, exactly. Carter is strong for a guy who doesn't look like a power winger. Some of those guys are deceptively strong, eh? So yeah, Nuttall's got 2. Tool's got 2. Oh, Nuttall close for the one-handed intercept. That looked like a genuine attempt. But you can get yourself into trouble for that kind of thing. Can the Brumbies hit straight back? The second half could get quite interesting. Jameson's originally from Dublin, now from Cork. I didn't know that. I didn't even know it was from Cork, so what do I know? Oh, the Chiefs have got themselves a penalty now on defence. Ball carrier not releasing. Jacobson got himself over the ball. Probably an unpopular opinion here, but I don't think anyone has ever accused a Kiwi team of having a 16th man in the fans. This is true. I've probably told this story a few times, but when I went to the 2011 World Cup match, All Blacks against France in the pool, not the final, there was a section of French fans who were just bouncing up and down and chanting. How old was I then? I was in my 20s. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, aren't you guys just supposed to be sitting down and watching the rugby and clapping every now and again? I'd never seen anything like it. It was incredible. Where do you play Jacobson in the Wallabies? His versatility maybe sees him in the number 20 jumper. Oh, nice from Xavier Rowe. Kick deep into the Brumbies 22. He's come off the bench sharp. Who's the backup chief scrummy? It's Xavier Rowe. This guy in the 21 jumper. Blondie. The French crowd in the final 2023 was all for the All Blacks against the Box. Probably because the Box knocked the French out. French are awesome spectators at sports games for sure. Kiwis are reserved. Very reserved. We don't like making a scene. But I do feel like even within New Zealand culture, there are certainly different cultural norms for how to be a spectator. Like at my kids' school, they sometimes have assemblies where they have a dance or something. In the Pacifica group, a lot of the parents come up to the stage and like put things on their kids' necks, like gifts, sometimes money, sometimes lollies. And the parents also like clap and dance and yell and get involved, whereas I sit there and just... So, yes. Arcoy needs to be seriously considered for the ABs. Yeah, my dad said the same thing actually before when I saw him earlier today. He came to dinner. April 2 is not a typical Kiwi. My friend ran the London Marathon, got 56 overall. He could hear me screaming his name amongst thousands of people. There you go. Get on you, April 2. I wish I was more like that. Brumbies 18 plus. Have you sweating? I will admit I have $50 on the Chiefs. Only because the betting company was saying if you top up 50, we'll match you 50. So I topped up 50 and put it on the Chiefs. I only really bet when they send me free bets, but sometimes they require you to top up. You feel like if the Chiefs score next, it's probably all over. That kick was a bit of a stinker from the Brumbies. That said, the football crowd for Auckland FC and then the Wars too. Yes, very boisterous and vocal, eh? So there's just certain things about rugby crowds in particular which are more reserved. But I think there's a lot of expat Brits who follow Auckland FC, to be honest. Those guys have got more of a culture of chanting and yelling and whatnot. Oh, Tom Wright's just knocked on a high ball. Here comes Rona. Quick ball. Xavier Rowe. Oh, the little chip through, but no. I don't know if you could hear that. Is it a class income level issue? I don't know. Rugby just doesn't tend to have a culture of being kind of like boisterous fans. The witch laugh, that was my daughter. You did hear it then. Yeah, that was my daughter. It's a culture thing, particularly Pākehā. When you're younger, you just get a bit shamed out if you're too out there, which for Kiwis isn't very out there. That's exactly right. There's kind of a cultural norm to just fit in and don't be the tall poppy that sticks out. Rugby crowds have gotten quieter over the years. They used to have more atmosphere. People probably had too loud when no one's there. Even a lot of people being noisy will sound loud. That might be true. Remember the name, Bad Jelly. If you see her run away, Bad Jelly, the witch. How's it going, Grant? Kiwis are the Canadians of the Southern Hemisphere. I feel like that's a thing, in a way. Like when I hear ice hockey players talk after the game, oh, it's going to go dead. Oh, no, it's not. Did they hit the post? Or did it just stop with the bounce? When I hear Canadian ice hockey players give a post-match interview, they sound just like New Zealand rugby players in that they are boring as fuck and don't really say anything. They don't want to put their neck out on the line for anything. They just keep it as toe the line and monotone as it can possibly be. It is awful. But I don't know what Canadians are like as fans. I know, like, in the NHL playoffs, there's groups of Canadians in, like the town square watching the game on big screens, and those guys go nuts. So I think they've probably got us in that regard. But at least in the match interviews, there seems to be some similar parallels about not being, like, the standout guy. It's all being about the team and all that kind of stuff. Well media trained, very much so. Oh, Brumbies just kick... Any of the Brumbies 50-50 passes in this game are just not sticky. It's another penalty against the Brumbies. What are players supposed to say? Bro, have you ever seen, like, LeBron James talk after a game? That guy is not an all-iron team kind of guy. And as a Kiwi, when he speaks, it kind of strikes me as, not supposed to talk like that. You know what I mean? Very passionate we are. You're definitely passionate in that regard. Like I said, with all the fans cheering, not even able to attend the game. D-Mac has just slotted another penalty. My $50 is looking pretty safe right now. Rugby needs more Rico. But Rico gets heaps of shit for being outspoken over here. He gets heaps of shit. But at least he gets people talking. Game over, Pascal? I think so. What is that, like 15 points? So what are the odds? Oh, what odds did I get on the bet? Yeah, not much. The Chiefs were paying $1.22, so bugger all. But to get the $50 free bet, I had to put $50 on, so I wanted to put my $50 into something safe. So I figured the Chiefs were safe. The more shit he gets, the more people talk. Exactly, Nate. But it doesn't fit in with the cultural norms over here. Israel Adesanya, the UFC fighter, he's been in the media talking about how New Zealanders kind of look to cut down tall poppies too much as well. Rugby has no personalities, too monotone from the players, Xavier. Yeah. But we love it. Like when Peter Armani was doing the "You're a shit Richie McCaw," like people love that stuff. Bit of drama. Tony, my mate from Districted Sports, is always talking about how rugby league leans into that drama, whereas rugby, we really shy away from it. Charlotte loved Marler apart from when he grabbed Alan Wynne-Jones's balls. Yeah, that was unusual. But Marler rubs people up the wrong way as well. Jimmy reckons a lot of the crap Rico gets is because he's brown as much as personality. If anything, he leans into the latter because he gets grief no matter what. He's gotten a lot of grief ever since he moved into the midfield. I feel like he never did on the wing. I think he was a bit of a golden boy on the wing. League is just run way better. Union is like boxing and league is like UFC. It's probably a pretty good comparison. Was that Fina with the big kick? Goodness me. It's crazy to see how much people are rattled by Pollock, which is also kind of funny, Tom. Yeah, he's another one. Anybody who's a little bit different, hey? Seems to get a lot of grief. Whereas, like, as in basketball, they love that kind of player. Rico comes across as super arrogant, and when you're going to come off as arrogant, you better have the performances to back that up. Otherwise, you just come off as a bit of a C. I feel like some other sports don't mind players who are arrogant. Like all the Formula One drivers are absolutely, well, not all of them. Many of the Formula One drivers are super arrogant. I feel like you have to be to do that job. But it's not a team sport, it's an individual sport, so maybe it doesn't matter as much. Jacob couldn't get around Muirhead. He's just given Carter a bit of a hospital pass, but geez, Carter did well to get out of that. I don't think Rico's arrogant. He's just confident and likes to enjoy it in person. He's nice to fans. Yeah, I think confidence in New Zealand comes across as arrogance, eh? To be a professional sports person, you have to have a lot of faith in your own abilities. It's only a certain type of mentality that gets to this level. F1 drivers are usually rich before they start. They're already entitled and arrogant. That's probably a part of Charlotte. Basketball, on the other hand, I'm not sure it explains that arrogance. But yeah, different sport which doesn't like have a culture of not standing out. See, Owen Farrell's going back to Saracens. Yeah, his stint in France was a brief one. Frankie was told he was arrogant when he started his current job in 2023. Less than a year later, I was making more than everyone in the company except the regional manager. Something about backing yourself is going to rub people up the wrong way, but if you don't back yourself, who else is going to? Sometimes you need to... You know, if you, like I said, you need to back yourself, which could come across as arrogant, but, you know. In games where you need to be aggressive to succeed, you find the level of arrogance is much higher. What about rugby, though? Don't you need to be pretty aggressive to be good in rugby? 22 is a bumbling dork for the Brumbies. He's talking about Debrasini. He got a try assist. But yeah, there's a reason he's not starting ahead of Lolosio. I don't get why people care if Rico is an a-hole or not. Yeah, it's never really... I mean, maybe because he's a Blues guy, I don't mind it. I don't mind Pollock. I don't mind Rico. There's a guy, an ice hockey player named PJ Subban. He's a Canadian. He's a black dude. But he's not the stereotypical, like, humble and... Oh, this is game over. That's game. Josh Jacob. That's the nail in the coffin. But yeah, I was just going to say, PJ Subban is, again, one of those square pegs, round hole for most ice hockey players, and he gets heaps of shit. Heaps of shit. He's retired now. Oh, nice. D-Mac just straightened enough, and then sets up Jacob outside him. That's game for sure. People should channel that criticism towards Reese. Yeah, people have already forgotten about the Reese thing. Every time I bring up Reese's friggin' convictions now, even Tony's saying, oh, you won't let that go. Oh, they've missed the conversion. 37-17. Also, who are the best rugby players we've produced? Richie, Conrad Smith, Dan Carter. Where's the overconfidence, arrogance in them? Oh, shit. Tom Wright from the restart. Oh, was there a hand under there? You got to check that hand, ref. I think D-Mac had a hand under it. You got to check that grounding. If you've seen that movie about Richie McCaw, you'll know that Richie is also insane. Like, he might not come across as arrogant, but he is the most competitive mother trucker. His wife said, like, what was the example? Like, if you're like, oh, let's go out now, he'll be like, let's see who can put your shoes on first, kind of thing. I'll race you. That is an amazing try stopper from D-Mac. He might have got flattened by Corey Tour earlier, but holy shit. That thing just weaseled its way under that ball. How did it just come out of nowhere? Oh my God. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. As he's getting dragged along, he's just got that hand. Oh my God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I hope that's in the highlights as well, Charlotte. But yes, what I was saying was Richie McCaw is ultra competitive. Apparently he will race you even to put shoes on. Michael Jordan was like that as well. Michael Jordan, remember, would play like gambling with like his staff. He would gamble with them, bet on everything, like flips of coins and throwing pieces of paper in a bin or something. Like, just ultra competitive. You can't be wired properly in the head to be that elite level, I think. Anyway. So Richie might not come across as arrogant, but he is like ultra competitive to like a weird unstable level. Richie was humble on the field. Yeah. Which is what we like in New Zealand. We like humble on the field. You can be insane with your wife and race her to put shoes on, but you have to be humble on the field. And the rest of the world hate McCaw. Yes, they do. I did watch the Dan Carter movie. I'm going to have it on DVD. McCaw also had friends, but outside wasn't interested in his teammates much. The movie The Kick kind of highlighted that Richie was a bit of a outsider, like even at social events and stuff. He's wired differently. Dan Carter seems super humble in his own movie. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Dan Carter's also had a whole bunch of, was it like failed businesses and stuff? Yeah, he has a lot of off the field activities going on. Charlotte liked Richie McCaw, admired. There you go. Will you have a match review for the Premiership final, Stefan? It's on at 2 in the morning before the URC final, so I don't think so. It's not even being broadcast here, but I might see if I can catch up on it afterwards on a less legitimate source. DC doesn't get the hate McCaw gets outside of New Zealand. He gets rated higher. But it's the opposite, I think, in New Zealand. I think Dan Carter gets a little bit more shit in New Zealand because he did the underwear modelling and because he's had a bunch of failed businesses and because he's on all the friggin' Chemist Warehouse ads. There's other things as well. Because he got like the drunk driving charge over in France, whereas Richie was a one-club man. Yeah, it kind of came across a bit different. Gotta say, McCaw not knowing the names of Kieran Reid's kids. I didn't know that. That is weird. That is weird. Dan Carter is just Chemist Warehouse ads for me. Him and his wife. His wife does more than he does. Best people in business have a lot of failures, but drunk driving not cool, Dan. Yeah, he did that while he was over in France, I think. Richie's kept things more kind of clean in that regard. There's 9 minutes to go. I get the feeling my $50 is pretty safe. I think I'm going to make $11 from this win. $11. It's half the price of a Blues ticket, general admission for next season. Reese has got the drunk driving and domestic abuse 2 for 1. Yeah, that's bizarre that he doesn't, bizarre that Sevu Reese gets less shit in New Zealand than Rieko Ioane. Like, Rieko Ioane doesn't have any convictions that I'm aware of. But he puts personality stuff on social media. Never could be okay with drunk driving. There's a teen in Whanganui. 4 kids at Whanganui High School were killed by a drunk driver. Yeah, one of my high school friends was killed by a drunk driver. Well, he was in the car with a drunk driver when I was in high school as well. Connor found out the other day he was gifted a channel. It was by Milo, who is in the stream right now. He bought 150 memberships for people the other day. So there you go. You've got access to a bunch of emojis, Connor. Kiwis are more comfortable here with domestic violence than someone being a bit arrogant. Yeah, that's a weird thing, right? That's weird. It's interesting we're talking about this more than the game right now because the game is just kind of winding down. Kiwis are very, very weird and out of touch with domestic violence. They're highest rate in the Western world for a reason. Thank you, New Zealand Rugby, for that. Yeah, how about more rugby personalities, less domestic violence? New Zealand, I could live with that every day of the week. We're also 2 likes away from 75 likes. Can we get 75 likes before we get to 75 minutes on the game? 113 people watching. A little bit just liked. Good man. Julian Savia had some domestic violence issues as well, but still went on to the World Cup domination. Indeed he did. Indeed he did. Domestic violence in New Zealand rugby players. Julian Savia. Sevu Reece. Who else? George Moala got one for grievous bodily harm, but I don't think it was a domestic violence one. Who else? We're at 90 likes. Can we get to 100? Who are you picking for the URC final? I think Leinster, but I'm not that great at picking upsets. But if the Bulls scrum gets on top in the rain, they're in with a fair chance. I think it's a close game. Frizzell, that's right. Frizzell wasn't domestic violence, but was some randos that he met in a bar. But still. Clark not really getting into trouble for the speeding and evading the police as well. He ran from the police. But yeah, Caleb Clark doesn't get as much shit as Rieko Ioane. It is weird. It's very weird. Umanga just had handbags. That was with his own teammates, right? Imagine beating your pregnant wife and you don't even get named, don't miss a game, not convicted, all because you play rugby. Yeah. It's depressing. Valentini was quiet today. Let's see what Valentini's stats are looking like on the carries. Rob Valentini, 10 carries. How many meters do you think he should have made for his 10 carries? I can't even see him. Where the hell is he? Oh, shit. I had to scroll down that list a very long way. 3. It says 3 meters. 10 carries for 3 meters. Daramundi guessed 40. That would be a good. That would be a 40. Would be a perfect return. But 3. I had to scroll all the way to the bottom. Just football. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I try to have a good time talking rugby. I like talking about rugby. Still 4 minutes to go in this game. Who's the man of the match? Who has been... You feel like part of it's got to be the defensive shift for the Chiefs in this one. Arcoy's been good. Line-out disruption, a bunch of tackles. Jacobson, big threat on defense. Carter has been one of the sharp link-up guys on attack. Take your pick. I feel like we've had too much refereeing input this weekend. Distracted. Good to see you, pal. I'll see you Monday. Wait, today's Saturday. I'll see you Monday. Make sure you watch the URC final, Tony. 4 o'clock in the morning. You can get up a bit late. Avoid spoilers. Frankie has got an important decision. Buy a ticket to the final or watch the stream and chuck some change to Mark. I'm going to be biased here. Thank you for that, brother. Polishing off the last little bit of this whiskey. Bro, if you're here, I'll be here. Love to have you here. But if you can go to the final, see your team win another fucking title, I won't blame you. Hope you enjoy. Either way is a good decision, I think. Just football once again. Bulls versus Leinster. Thoughts on that live stream? Thank you once again, pal. If it's like gun to the head, make a decision who you're picking, your life's on the line. I'm picking Leinster because they're at home and because they're a very, very good team. Would I be shocked if the Bulls win? Hell no. I think it'll be a cracking encounter because the Bulls, I do think, will look to target Clarkson at scrum time. And if Porter starts giving away penalties, if Wilco Lowe can get on top of him, they could make that a real long day at the office for Leinster. So I think it could be a real cracker. Send the wife to the couch to cover the URC final, Mark. Brave man. I'd be a brave man to do that. It is on at 4. I'm definitely going to be watching it. It's just whether I live stream it. If I watch it, I can just roll out of bed at 4, turn the computer on, TV on, and just start watching. If I live stream, I've got to get up earlier, get dressed, and, you know, set up the microphone and shit. So, yeah, we'll see. It's only on in 7 hours. The Bulls will target Prendergast. That's true, Charlotte. Yep, they'll be sending runners down his channel all day long. The final of the URC is Andrea Piatti. Brumbies not straight at the end. Kind of sums up their game in the last 20. Well, that's the game. It is going to be the Chiefs up against the Crusaders next week. Narawa. I'm awaiting my dad's messages before we wrap it up here. But yeah, I think it's going to be a quality final. Chiefs and the Crusaders are the top 2 sides, so it's very much like the URC final. The top 2 sides make the final. It is, once again, 2 Kiwi teams in the final. It would have been nice to see an Aussie team make it, but yeah. Chiefs, another away final. Yeah, Munster fans would like the Chiefs to get a win, I'm sure. Send the coach out on a high. Frankie says, enjoy the URC final. That'll be up for watching the flu. Looking forward to next week's stream. Cheers, man. If you go to the game, enjoy that. Otherwise, I'll see you here. If you want to watch the URC final belatedly, it's on at like 4 in the morning, but it's going to be on TVNZ, so you can watch it later if you want to catch up on it. Prem finals, the top 2 sides too. That's awesome, isn't it? Hopefully Stevenson will get cleared for next week. They'll need that big boot of his, I think. Prem final's going to be a cracker, yeah. Leicester up against Buff.
Chiefs Crusaders, McKenzie was a star. Everybody in the Chiefs played well. Tom Rowe played well, and Muirhead played well. Nick Frost played well for the Brumbies. Brumbies had their chances in that first half, but they missed out. They should have kept going after half time. Chiefs just too good, too clinical. Technical kicking, taking the penalties. Maybe not by 20 points, but certainly 12 to 15. They kicked the goals and just blew the Brumbies off the park, basically. I think that Stephen Larkin may be pretty disappointed. Well, they didn't play too badly, but Nick Berry. Well, I still give him 12 out of 20, but
12 out of 20.
The second half was as good as his first half. He was slightly a bit confused at the breakdown, but outside that, he got everything right. Didn't cost anybody the game. And Sapini Dinao, who played terrible last week, had a good game this week.
There you go.
So he might have just saved his All Black place, maybe. Possibly. Probably. And he needed a big game and he produced it. But McKenzie was the man. He got them home, and Josh Jacobson, when he came on, was good. Stevenson was good. Quinn DePire was good. So they were just, took the points when they were there and basically just ran the Brumbies off their feet in the second half, I think.
Highest, I think he's given us 13. 13.
I'd like to see the Chiefs do it. We don't want the bloody Crusaders playing around bloody Christchurch with the trophy around their neck. They've got a good chance, so you never know down there. But I would favour the Chiefs slightly because they've won down there before and they've won at home, so they know they can go down there and beat the Crusaders. And if they produce a performance like they did down there last time and tonight, they'll probably win it. But as I always say, McMurray, stranger things have happened. So Clayton McMillan will be happy, Luke Jacobson will be happy, all those guys will be happy. And even when Stevenson went off, they didn't lose the momentum, and that's what they played in a pretty big game. I'd like to see them win it because, Clayton McMillan's going to Munster, and I'd like to see him win on a winning note.
It would be nice.
But they'll have to wait till next week, I'm afraid. McMurray?
Yep.
Yeah, last but not least, well, I think the Chiefs bench was a bit better than the Brumbies bench. The Brumbies played some good rugby for the first 60 minutes, but they kept giving away penalties at the breakdown, so Stephen Larkin won't be very happy with that. But they're in the top 4. They are definitely in the top 4 sides of best teams in this competition. And they're going to get a lot of wallabies. Brumbies, no doubt about that. Did losing Lasio have a big effect on the game? Well, at the start I thought yes, but maybe not so big now. Because, he's a very, very good player, but he's no Damien McKenzie or Bowden Barrett or Richie Moanga. Anyway, thanks for a great night and thanks for playing for it, O'Neill.
Yeah,
Keep the membership up on his channel, guys. Gazamania, Roger Mania out. Bye.
There you go. I paid for his meal tonight. We had a family dinner, both sides of the family. They insisted to pay, but I was like, no, I'll pay, Dad. So, isn't he nice? I promise I didn't tell him to say that to make me look like a good person. I just don't like my dad to pay for his own meal when he drives out to West Auckland to see me. But anyway, yeah, Milo paid for his meal actually because Milo donated 150 subs yesterday, or membership. So it's actually Milo. I'll have to tell Gazza that Milo bought your meal, Gazza. That's a good point, Charlotte. But, yes. You guys all take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we have URC final tomorrow. I'll be watching it at 4. Odds of a live stream are pretty low. But if it happens, it happens. Most likely not. 4 o'clock, I'll probably be rolling out of bed pretty haggard, to be honest. But watch for a match review for that one. And then we'll definitely do a live stream for the Super Rugby final next week. Chiefs against Crusaders. That should be a cracker. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Take care of yourselves as always. And yes, catch you guys again for another one soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.